So good morning once again. Today we are going to cover data collection and presentation. And we are going to see how we collect information, maybe about age, about height, about even other items. And then we are going to see how we can organize and then present that data, either on a pie chart or a bar graph. So how many of us have ever drawn a pie chart? To those who know how to draw a pie chart. None? Okay, Cletus. Yes. You can. Isaac, have you ever drawn a pie chart? Okay.
Yes, I have, teacher.
Okay. So who can read for us? So we can say, okay, by the end of this topic, the runner should be able to present different sorts of data by understanding the differences between types of data. So those we are going to have access to. Then collecting, representing simple data from local environment using a bar chart, a pie chart, or a line graph. So who can read for us the types of data? Just unmute and read. Isaac, you can read for us this subtopic 9 about types of data.
Qualitative data is data that is not given numerically,
Yes.
e.g. favorite color, place of birth, favorite food, or type of car. Quantitative data is numerical. There are two types of quantitative data: discrete and continuous data. Discrete data can only take specific numeric values, e.g. shoe size, number of brothers, number of cars in a car park. Continuous data and take any numerical value, e.g. height, mass, and length.
So here we are saying we have data which is qualitative, so that one we cannot measure. For example, the color, okay? So we cannot measure in terms of numbers the color, how something looks like. Then place of birth, we cannot measure places in numbers, okay, where we were born. Then favorite food, we cannot measure how the food tastes in terms of numbers, okay? And the type of the car, if it is a car, we cannot measure that this is, so we cannot have them in terms of numbers. That is what we simply mean. Then when we go to quantitative, so quantity means from numbers. So this is data that we can measure numerically. And we are saying there are two types. So we have discrete and continuous. So the discrete one can take up specific numeric values. So when we go to shoe size, so it has sizes, size 7, size 6, size 5, etc. The number of brothers, so they can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 onwards. Number of cars in a car park, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 onwards. Okay, so that is the data that we can easily do what? Do count. Then when we go to continuous data, this is data that can take on any numerical value. For example, 8. So if we measured your height, we might find it has some decimal points. Okay. The mass is in kilograms. So it can be from 1 up to, I think when a baby is young, they have 2 point something. So it can be from 2 point something to 100. Even some people have more than 100 kilograms. Okay, so it can fall within that range. So it can take on any value. It can take on any value within that range. Then length. So length, if we are using a meter ruler, it is from 0 up to 100. So meaning any, we are at liberty to measure, and we get 50, 25, 10, 5, okay? 5.5. So it means it can take on any what? Any value. Any questions before we proceed? They are not there, then we can proceed. So I guess you have access to this work. Do we have access to this work?
Yes, teacher, we have.
Okay, so after you come and watch these videos, I'm going to share the link. So let us go to our next subtopic, which is collecting what? Collecting data. And we're saying in this section, you will see how data is collected, organized, interpreted, using a tally chart, and then displayed using part 1, pictograms, bar charts, and pie charts. So this activity 9.2, we are supposed to deal with collecting data. And the activity was saying in groups, identify the means of transport each learner use to come to school. And then as a class, identify how many of you use the same means of transport. Then question 1 on that was, which means of transport is used by the majority? And then part 2, which one is the least used means of transport? So this was an activity that was supposed to be done at school, but still we can discuss it. Then maybe I can design another activity that you can do at home. Okay. So the means of transport, there are some who do walk, others use a bike, others use a car, others use a bus. So when each of the learners brought in what they use, then they were tallies for the class. So at class level, so they tallied those who were walking, and there were 9. Those who used the bike, there were 3. Those who used the car were 6. Then those who used a bus were 12. Then now we can go to our question here. Which means of transport is used by the majority? So we can answer that. which means is used by the majority.
Bus.
Bus. Okay, so a bus is used by the majority, the means of transport used by the majority of the students to come to school, because it has the when we come to this column for frequency, it has the highest what? The highest number. Then Roman 2, which one is the least used means of transport? Which one is the least used means of transport?
Bike.
The bike, because it has 3. So only 3 students use it to come to school. Then now that we have this information, we can first of all begin presenting that information using pictograms. Do we know what pictograms are? Do you know what they are? Pictograms.
Yes.
So now, Kretus, how do we represent this information using a pictogram?
So we draw a graph down.
Yes.
We draw a graph. Then you start labeling bikes. Down on the graph, bikes, what? Cars, bus, walk. Then you put them percentage.
Percentage. Okay, thank you. Isaac, do you have any idea about a pictogram?
Excuse me, teacher.
Do you have any idea about a pictogram?
Yes.
Okay.
Pictograph, pictogram.
Pictogram. I think they're the same as graph. Pictographs, I don't know, but you first explain.
I'm going to talk about the pictograph.
Okay.
It's a graph that shows like the amount of, let's say, like maybe 1 apple represents 25 apples.
Okay.
It's something like that.
That is great. So what we are going to do here, because we are dealing with people, we are going to choose, okay? For example, here, since there are 9, so we are going to choose, we are saying if, in brackets, stick man is taken to represent 2 people, okay? So this stick man here is representing 2 people, then the pictogram looks like, okay? So we shall have, so where we had 9, okay? So those would be 4, I think. So this one would be equal to 9. So those who do by walking, we shall have 4 and a half stick a man, because this 4 would be the same as 4 times 2, because we are saying each stick man stands for 2 people. Then we add half a stick man, which is the 1, and then this would give us what? 9. So that is why here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a half stick a man. So those would this would be the same as what? As 9. Is that okay?
Yes, teacher.
Then for a bike, there were 3. So one sticker man represents 2, then plus a half sticker man. So this would also be equal to 3. Then for a car, there were 6. So those would be 3 sticker men. And then for a bus, there were 12. So we shall have 6 sticker men. So yeah, so that is what we are supposed to have. Okay. So this one here is the pictogram, where we have pictures representing information. Is that understood? Then we go to part B, where we are using a bar chart for the data. So for a bar chart, we draw our bars up to the number that is required. Of course, without forgetting that we are supposed to use an appropriate scale. So on the vertical or on the y-axis is where we have the number of the students. Then here we have the means of transport. So we have those who do walk, and there were 4. Were they 4? Yes. So we draw a bar up to 4, and then we bring it. Then we leave some space. Then we go to bike as a means of transport. Those who use the bike are supposed to be 3. Yes, 3. I think this was drawn wrongly because this is in 1.5. Okay, they use the scale here. I use the scale of 1 of, but these numbers here would have changed to let us correct that. Okay, so this should be like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then 12. So that we choose an appropriate scale and then we draw our graph. So those who were walking were 8, so we draw our bar up to 8 and then close it. Then leave this little space here. Then we go to those of the bike. So the ones of the bike were 3, so we also draw our bar going up to 3 and we close it. And then for a car, there were 6, so we draw still the same going up to 6, leave some space. Then for a bus, there were 12, we draw our bar going up to 12, then close it. Then after that, we could shade each of them with a different color to make our work look smart and neat. So that would be the end. After drawing that, then our work would look very neat. And that is how we represent that information on a bar chart. Any questions?
Huh?
Then we go to part 3 for a pie chart. So how do we draw a pie chart? Or what is needed for us to draw a pie chart? Any idea?
Draw a pie chart.
Yes.
Teacher, for me, I say we first put these numbers into percentage form, degrees.
Yeah, into degrees.
Then we know a pie chart equals to 60. We use a protractor, construct 90 if there's one which needs 90.
Okay. So here we need to convert to 360. Okay. So last time we said angles at a point are equivalent to 360. So because we are going to measure all those angles from a point, since it will be the radius of that circle where we draw a pie chart. So now there are 2 ways we can use here. So we would first know how like here they're saying to illustrate the data with the pie chart, you need to find out what angle is equivalent to 1 pupil. So since there are 360 in a circle and 30 pupils, then the angle per pupil is 360 divided by 30, which gives us 12. So there you can first find out how the angle that is equivalent to 1 pupil, and then here you would just simply say you get 1, like here where they said 9 for those who walk. So you get 9 times the angle for each of them, and that would give you 108. Then you do the same like for this. So here you still multiply by 12, and here still by 12. So all this would give you 36, 72, 44, and then the total would be 360. So do we have anyone with a different view? There's another method that we could use. So what is that method? So the other method would first need to know the total frequency. So we also first get the total here. So what is 9 plus 3 plus 6 plus 12 equal to? Nine plus 3 plus 6 plus 12. What is it equal to? Isaac?
Excuse me, teacher.
What did we get when we add this column for frequency, these numbers here?
30.
So then we'd come and say those who the degrees for those who walk, we get 9. We divide that by 30 and multiply by the total, which is 360. And then we would say this one by 1 by 1. Here we divide by 3 is 1, by 3 is 3. So we get 3 times 36. What is 3 times 36?
108.
108. Okay. So the activity that I'm going to leave with you is to use this second method here to find the degrees for those who do the bike, the degrees for those who use a car, and the degrees for those who use the bus, using this second method. And then after that, you use your protractor and the pair of compass. So you first draw a circle. Let me do that illustration. So you first begin by drawing a circle. Then you'll get any starting point. Any starting point. So you do like that. And then you begin measuring. Okay? In a side which is easier for you. So you measure. Then if this is maybe you are 72 degrees, and then you indicate that this stands for, or you can shade it so you know how to make it look very, very nice. Then after that, you send that work for marking. Is it okay? So are the instructions clear?
Yes.
Okay, so do that very fast, and then I'm going to send you the link to that work in your group. Then you are able to do and then watch the videos as well, such that we get to finish this topic. Okay.